President requests the world leaders to support to achieve net carbon-free targets and climate prosperity. The President meets world leaders with the sidelines of World Economic Summit. Mahanayaka Theras invoke blessings to Yukti operation. The Supreme Court cancelled the presidential pardon given to Duminda Silva. Minister Bandula says that railway infrastructure facilities cannot be developed without foreign aid. Iran launches a missile attack to Pakistan. Now, President Ranil Wickremesinghe calls on developing nations to aid in creating a just, sustainable and prosperous future.
He stressed the significance of this joint effort considering resource constraints and the impact of climate change on fiscal space. President Ranil Wickremesinghe urged collaboration from development partners, the private sector and the international finance community to support the V20-led climate prosperity plans. The President made these comments addressing the roundtable organised by the Climate Vulnerable Forum in Davos, Switzerland yesterday. President Wickremesinghe noted that he is dedicated to progressing investments in climate prosperity plans, including the development of investor sheets for finance mobilization.
Our collective call for development prosperity through climate action is embedded in our vision for a sustainable world driven by innovative solutions. While making little or no contribution to the global carbon footprint, vulnerable developing nations in the global south face the brunt of the adverse impacts of climate change. Multilateral efforts to redress this balance has been high on commitments and low on outcomes. It is with this issue of climate justice in mind that Sri Lanka launched the Tropical Belt Initiative at COP28 in Dubai. This initiative intends to catalyze investments of private funds towards the sustainability of critical climate resources in the tropical belt. This includes our forests, mangroves, oceans, renewable energy resources, amongst others. In order to identify avenues for such investments, developing countries must identify robust plans and bankable projects. Sri Lanka has taken bold steps in crafting its climate prosperity plan that enables the realization of our climate and biodiversity goals while delivering sustainable prosperity to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's climate prosperity plan provides that blueprint for investment in critical areas, including in resource-based sectors to secure our industries and supply chains. The targeted intervention proposed in our CPP is grounded in our national circumstances and aims to unlock domestic energy abundance through renewables for the country to become a net energy exporter by 2025. The CPP investments, once realized, will boost Sri Lanka's renewable energy production, ideally exceeding 100% of domestic power needs by 2040. Some of the projects in our CPP include agriculture projects that seek to be low carbon and more productive, as well as offshore wind with local manufacturing. This ensures inclusive impact of such investments, integrating rural agricultural economies and local manufacturing value chains. We are committed to realizing these CPP investments and are indeed taking critical next steps such as developing investor sheets for investable projects to advance finance. These ambitious projects do, however, call for investments in training, skills and digital technologies that will be critical for job expansion. This should enable Sri Lanka to maximize the employment benefits of a sustainable and climate-secure transition. Excellencies, the V20-led climate prosperity plans are not just a strategy to prosper in a climate-insecure world. These plans are our agenda for being winners in the zero-carbon world. We lack the resources of our wealthy and major economic counterparts. Our fiscal space is under constant pressure from the impacts of climate change. Global economic conditions and rising debt lists have put financing beyond the reach of those who need it most. I urge our development partners, private sector, and the international finance community to get behind our CPPs and help us deliver a just, sustainable, and prosperous future.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe met a number of diplomats with the sidelines of the World Economic Summit in Switzerland. The President met the member of the Senate in the United Kingdom, William Hague. Senior advisor to the National Defence and Chief of Presidential Staff, Sagala Ratnayaka, was also present at the meeting. Another meeting was held between the President and the Special Representatives of the US President, John Kerry. President Wickremesinghe also participated at a meeting between Director of the IMF, Kritalina Georgieva, and the Deputy Managing Director, Geeta Gopinath.
The Yukti operation completes a month today. Accordingly, Minister of Public Security Tiran Alas visited the Sri Dhanada Maligava in Kandy and received blessings of the Mahasangha. After worshipping the sacred tooth relic, the minister met Mahanayaka Theras of the Malvatta and Askari chapters. The Theras invoked blessings to the minister. They said that implementing the Yukti operation is a timely need and they expressed their fullest cooperation to continue this operation. At first, the minister met the Mahanayaka of the Malvatta chapter, Most Venerable Tibbatuave Sri Sumangala Thera. The Theras said that the Yukti operation should be continued and all underworld gang leaders and drug smugglers active in some foreign countries should be brought to the country and legal actions against them should be taken. Later, the minister met Anunayaka of the Malvatta chapter, Venerable Dimulkumbule Vimaladammanayaka Thera. Minister of Public Security Tiran Alas said that the Mahanayaka Theras expressed their recommendation for this program and stressed the need to continue this. The people are with us in this good activity. However, there are small amounts of people who criticize this operation. They may be connected to the drug smuggling. The minister said he has stressed that this operation will not be stopped in the face of any challenge. Only the President and the Prime Minister can stop this.
The Supreme Court today decided to void the decision taken by former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to grant presidential pardon to former parliamentarian Dumindu Silva, who was under death sentence. He was convinced regarding the killing of Bharat Lakshman Premachandra. Accordingly, the Supreme Court ordered the Commissioner General of Prisons to take measures to implement the capital punishment imposed to the petitioner Dumindu Silva. The Supreme Court gave this verdict after considering the petitions filed by wife of late Bharat Lakshman Premachandra, Sumana Premachandra and daughter Hirunika Premachandra and a former Commissioner of Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission, senior lawyer Ghazali Hussain. Commenting on the verdict, Supreme Court Judge Preeti Padman Surasena stated that former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa had not followed the proper legal procedure in granting pardon to Dumindu Silva. The Supreme Court further said that former President has acted in a manner to violate public trust in this process. In addition, the Supreme Court said the reasons submitted by the former President to grant pardon to the petitioner cannot be accepted. Parliamentarian Vajra Abeyewardene emphasized the imperative of the country's process, asserting that there is no light in this. He called for setting aside political party differences and contributing to the success of the program.
In light of this, he called for setting aside political party differences and collectively contributing to the success of the program, and he stressed that as February unfolds, a crucial opportunity has arisen to advance the nation with support from international institutions such as the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, Asian Development Bank and friendly countries. He underscored the responsibility of the people in identifying and thwarting efforts by certain parties to undermine these endeavours. He made these remarks during the meeting media briefing at the Presidential Media Centre today, held under the theme Collective Path to a Stable Country. Parliamentarian Abad said that there's no other country in the world with approximately 75 political parties, as is the case in Sri Lanka. The proliferation of parties has contributed to the division and disunity within our country, leading to numerous challenges since gaining independence. The lack of transparency in funding sources for these political parties prompted President Ranil Wickremesinghe to pass a bill in Parliament aiming to track and scrutinize their expenditure during elections. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has garnered global attention due to his efforts in steering the country from the brink of crisis to a path of development within a short span of 1.5 years. The President has effectively utilized foreign trips to achieve this goal. He stressed that it is essential to acknowledge that despite our party's defeat in 2020, the manifesto presented has been implemented for the greater good of the country. The public should recognize that they are currently enjoying essential services such as fuel, electricity and gas without shortages owing to the implementation of the manifesto they once rejected. Parliamentarian Abad further said that the government is currently executing the points outlined in the book Regaining Sri Lanka, presented at the Tokyo conference. It is imperative that all politicians in the country familiarize themselves with its contents. Rather than engaging in mutual criticism, it is crucial to rally behind President's leadership to rebuild the country, which was in dire straits. The citizens are experiencing an improved quality of life, free from the inconvenience of queues due to the effectiveness of this program. It is incumbent upon all political parties to unite in this endeavour, and those attempting to deviate from this path should bear the responsibility, especially for spreading false statements for political gain. When President assumed office in 2022, there was a noticeable lack of political capacity and energy for development work in the country. Despite the setbacks of the past 3 years, development initiatives have recommenced as of February. He further said that, however, some parties are attempting to undermine the country's development process by orchestrating strikes and tarnishing its reputation globally, which poses a threat to the economy. There's risk of losing billions of dollars to the country in the face of such challenges. He said that furthermore, plans for debt restructuring include agreements with Japan and the Paris Club, as well as a separate agreement with China. Beyond February, there's a potential opportunity to advance the country with the support of international institutions such as the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, Asian Development Bank, JICA and supportive nations. Despite potential efforts by certain parties to disrupt these plans, it is the responsibility of the people to discern and thwart such endeavours.
Rupavahini says that infrastructure facilities of the railway cannot be developed without obtaining a huge sum of foreign aid. He states that he is taking too much efforts to transform at least one line as an electric railway line. He also added that the concept of a station plaza has been included in this year's budget proposal to realize this dream.
The minister made these remarks participating at the opening of the construction of the new building of German Tech Railway Training Centre in Ratmalana. This building is constructed under the project to enhance efficiency of the railway under the loan of Asian Development Bank. A sum of 450 million rupees has been invested for this project. This building is constructed as a structure of S14 railway engine for the first time in railways history. This has engine driver training unit that has facilities for 8 engine drivers and a train at a time. In addition, the new vehicle service station of the Chief Engineering Office of the Railway Department was also declared open by the Minister. Minister Dr. Bandra Gunawardena said that all railway tracks after the independence have been constructed under loans. All the engines have been purchased under credit. No government has bought engines with ready cash. The government is now attempting to at least one railway line to be transformed into an electric line to run electric trains. On the other hand, under the concept of station plaza, railway stations will be given to private sector under 19 years leasing. While maintaining the railway transport, the investor will be able to start other businesses in the premises. This concept has been implemented in many countries. However, Sri Lanka is yet to start this concept. The Sri Lanka Transport Board has introduced a new bus service for foreign tourists titled Columbo Charika. Minister Dr. Bandra Gunawardena today inspected several buses of this service. Such a service targeting foreign tourists has been planned for the first time in the 60-year history of the SLTB. The special luxury bus service has been planned covering tourism zones in the island. Under the first stage, 4 tourism rings will be introduced in the Colombo city as a pilot project. More stories on the other side of this break. Welcome back, and in more local stories, Russia has donated a stock of sunflower oil worth $1.5 million.
Accordingly, over 130 metric tons of sunflower oil has been donated through the UN World Food Programme. This donation can be considered as a measure to strengthen the coordination between the Russian Federation and Sri Lanka. The stock of sunflower oil was officially handed over to the Sri Lanka government at the UN World Food Programme Secretariat premises yesterday. As a first stage of this program, Russia donated 352 metric tons of sunflower oil to Sri Lanka last year. This donation will be distributed among the low-income and vulnerable families throughout the country. Russian Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Levan S. Deargeren, Director of the World Food Programme, Gerard Rebello, and several others were present at this occasion.
To making a positive impact on the lives of those most in need.
So I would like to emphasize that this would not have been possible without the generous support of the international community and development partners. So my particular appreciations goes to the government of Russia, the Russian Federation, for your generous support.
Needless to say that the current international situation is a little bit complicated, and thousands and thousands of sanctions have been imposed against my country, against the Russian Federation. But thanks to the policy of my government and personally President Putin, we managed to overcome many problems. And right now, Russian Federation has become #1 in Europe.
That's the purpose of this division, which has been established in the recent past, and of course it was established immediately after the COVID response, and now we are continuing as an emergency response unit.
Thank you very much, who is arranging a very short, within the short period of time, our new DG, Mr. Riflan, and Mr. Mangal and other staff members. Very short period of time, they organize a colourful.
The Colombo Municipal Council conducted a special dengue control program in Town Hall in Colombo today. Many construction sites and business places were checked during this program.
Dengue වගකීම අපේ අරමුණයි. ජාතික රූපවාහිනිය සමග මෝටීන්. ඩෙන්ගු නැති හැටක්.
Mosquito larvae were found from many building sites and even households. Legal actions will be taken against the persons responsible for this matter. Chief Medical Officer of the Colombo Municipal Council, Dr. Ruan Vijayamani, said that the Municipal Council has expedited the dengue control activities since the end of November last year. As a result of that, dengue menace in the Colombo city was controlled to a certain extent.
And now for a few more local news items in brief. The Ministry of Education says that second stage of the third school term of the government schools and government-approved private schools in 2023 will begin on the 5th of February. Several more news in brief will also be presented now. Since the GCE A-level examination will commence until the 1st of February, the second stage of the third school term will begin on the 5th of February. The second stage of the third school term will end on the 16th of February. Sumati Tele Award ceremony this year will be held on the 20th of next month at the Monarch Imperial Hotel premises in Sri Jayawardhanapura in a grand manner. Telecreations cast during the year 2022, the creations cast in the 2023 and artists who contributed to these programs will be honoured in this ceremony. Accordingly, about 58 awards are scheduled to be presented for each year. 100 drones were donated to the Agrarian Development Department today for the modification of agricultural sections in the country. Minister Mahinda Amaravira received these drones at a ceremony held in the Columbo harbour premises. The stock of drones is amounting to 250 million rupees. These 100 drones are scheduled to be distributed among the selected agrarian service centres located in each district. Heavy cold weather is prevailing in the Nuwara district these days. It was recorded at 10 degrees Celsius. Our correspondent says that the extensive cold weather has affected the daily affairs of the people. The chill prevailing in the Nuwara area this year is rather unbearable during this period. Villagers in Gangayai and Talamal Villa says that their village is inundated since 4 months so far. Members of 50 families have been affected due to overflow of sewerage network. Many houses are at danger of collapse. The villagers accuse that due to an improper development of roads in the area has caused this situation. We'll be back with foreign news right after this break.
Welcome back, and taking a look at your foreign news tonight. Pakistan officials say that Iran launched a missile attack apparently targeting militant bases in western Pakistan, which killed 2 children. The operation targeted the military group Jaish al-Adil, which Tehran's foreign minister described as an Iranian terrorist group in Pakistan. The attack occurred in Balochistan and comes after Iran attacked targets in Iraq and Syria earlier this week. Pakistani officials said 2 children were killed and 3 others injured. Islamabad said the attack was illegal and warned of serious consequences. However, Iran's foreign minister Hussein Amir Abdullahian, speaking in Davos, insisted that no Pakistani citizen had been targeted, only members of Jaish al-Adil. He added that he had spoken to his Pakistani counterpart and assured him that we do respect sovereignty and territorial integrity of Pakistan and Iraq. The latest airstrike comes at a time of growing tension across the Middle East, with a war raging between Israel and the Palestinian group Hamas in Gaza.
Foreign media reports that Yemen's Houthi movements has hit yet another ship in the Sea of Yemen. The Greek-owned bulk carrier Geographia was sailing from Vietnam to Israel when it was struck yesterday. It is said to have suffered only minor damage. The incident comes as the US military announced it had seized Iranian-supplied weapons bound for the Houthis during an operation last week. Meanwhile, the United States has hit more targets in the Houthi-controlled areas of Yemen. 4 anti-ship ballistic missiles that were ready to be launched were destroyed. The US and UK launched a wave of airstrikes against dozens of Houthi targets on 11th January following attacks by the group of shipping in the Red Sea. The Houthis began attacking merchant vessels in November, saying they were responding to Israel's military operation in Gaza.
Rwanda's military said that their border patrol soldiers shot dead a Congo soldier and arrested 2 others after they crossed the border early on Tuesday. Foreign media reports that Congo soldiers who crossed the border had 1 AK-47 gun, 4 magazines with 105 rounds, 1 protective vest and cannabis sachets in their possession. A Congo soldier who was shot dead was a result when he fired at the patrols. No one on the Rwandan side with violence by rebel groups, including the M23 rebels, which has seized swaths of land since launching an offensive in late 2021.
2 of them were injured. The Congolese soldier was killed.
Temperatures fell as low as minus 14 degrees Celsius in Scotland, making it the coldest night of winter as new amber warnings are issued for heavy snow. Yesterday evening was reported to be the coldest January night since 2019, the Scotland's Met Office said. Bitter conditions and significant snowfall has forced schools to remain closed in Scotland today and amidst yellow warnings for ice and snow across all 4 UK nations. Heavy frost and freezing conditions are likely across virtually the entire country, with experts warning of treacherous pavements and roads.
The Zimbabwe team won the second T20 cricket match against Sri Lanka by 4 wickets yesterday. Accordingly, Sri Lanka will have to compulsorily win the next match tomorrow to claim the win of the series.
The match was played at the R. Premadasa Stadium in Columbo. Zimbabwe won the toss and elected to field first. Sri Lanka's first 4 wickets were out for just only 27 runs. Later, Angelo Matthews and Charita Salanka built up a 118-run partnership for the 5th wicket. And this is the highest partnership of Sri Lanka for the 5th wicket in T20 matches. Charita Salanka scored 69 runs. Angelo Matthews was not out at 66. And Sri Lanka scored 173 runs for 6 wickets in their 20 overs.
He was the one who kept the ship afloat. Superb hit. Brought the momentum back. Half century to him as well. Such a valuable knock.
In reply, Zimbabwe built up a 74-run partnership for the 2nd wicket. Zimbabwe needed 20 runs in the last over to win the match. Angelo Matthews bowled the last over and Zimbabwe passed the victory target in 19.5 overs for 6 wickets. This is the first time Zimbabwe beat Sri Lanka in T20 match.
And that concludes your news bulletin for tonight. Tune in tomorrow as well for the very latest, together with Kasni and Prashant. Good night.